We are going to have a few more questions for Taylor here. We're going to discuss a little bit more between me and Wes too. So this is also for Taylor's audience who's coming to watch over here. We want you guys to know a little bit about me and Wes, but also for our audience to learn a little bit more about you. So the first topic of discussion is Taylor. What got you into gaming?
So, I guess when I was younger, I had the old Game Boy. Back in the day, I had a red little Game Boy. I remember getting that for Christmas one year, and it came with a whole bunch of random games. I played that.
Was it a Game
One
Boy
of them,
Color?
did it have color? Honestly, I'm not, I think it. I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did have color, yes, because at some point, for some reason, I randomly had a couple years later, I had a random Game Boy show at my house that was a completely different color. No idea whose it was, and that one was gray. Why? I don't know. It was weird, but there was a random Game Boy stuck in my little. I had like a little my own personal bag, and I had a random Game Boy in it that was not mine. But I always had friends come over that I think also had Game Boy, so one of them just kind of like kept it in there. I don't know. It was weird, but anyways, so I had a Game Boy, and I remember playing that a lot of times, like when I would go out to places with my mom and sitting in the waiting room of doctor's offices. For some reason, I specifically remember just like sitting in the waiting office of like a doctor's office, just like playing the game. I also had a Nintendo DS as well. That was a handheld device as well, and I played a few games on that. The most popular, like, I guess that really got me into the gaming was I had a PlayStation 1, and
Nice.
I had a bunch. Yeah, I had a bunch of games for PlayStation 1. I had Spyro, Crash, and I had a whole basket full of just like random miscellaneous games. So none of them that even coincide with one another. I had like a bowling game. I had a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game, which was not made for kids because I did not know anything. I was like 7. Like, I'm not gonna know any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's like when they put out
But I
Jeopardy on NES, and I was like a kid. I was like, "What the hell? Like, this
like
was
they're
so
like
different."
saying words that I'm like, what does this mean? I don't even know. That's kind of like where it all kind of started because Spyro was definitely a legendary game in my household and also a lot of my family. We would all kind of get together and just kind of play Spyro. So I think it kind of just like spiraled from there, playing from the Game Boy, the Nintendo DS, and then just playing a bunch of like random games on PlayStation One with like family and friends.
So, Wes, what about you, sir? And what got you into gaming?
What got me into gaming? I can't even remember. I just remember liking games ever since I was little.
It was the Roaring Twenties. No, I'm just kidding.
Not
I'm
that
just
old.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I remember going over my uncle's house and he showed us like Pong. He had like a Magnavox Odyssey with Pong hooked up, and all the family was gathered around, and we were all taking turns and playing it, and it was great. So of course I had to ask my parents to buy me one. So that was like the late '70s, and then from there went to Atari, and it just kind of stuck, man. I just ever since I just been a gamer. Uh, Different genres, different systems. I lived through it all, and still gaming today.
For me, it would have been Atari 2600 was the first console I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Frogger, Pitfall,
Mm-hmm.
clear. Like I can see it clear as day. I was probably like 2 years old. Uh, I mean, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I eventually figured it out, right? And then my sister got a NES, and that's really what took off. So playing Super Mario for the first time was like my mind like blew up. Like going from the Atari to Super Mario Brothers was like an entire evolution, and that was really all I needed. I got that. I got, of course, Mario 2, Mario 3, Ninja Gaiden. Oh, sweet Ninja Gaiden. Good lord. Um, but the NES is really where the passion started. So that's definitely my answer. So you already mentioned a couple of these, Taylor. You mentioned Spyro. But what were some of the most influential games to you?
Um, One of them was Spyro. And Probably Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 1. They were the most, I think, kind of got me. They were the ones that like I think like pushed the boat basically. Like they got me to kind of like where I am. We had a lot of family nights where my cousins night. They also grew up with Crash and Spyro, and they would come over on like a Saturday night on like not like a school night, and their mom would come over and we would all play. Like we would just take turns like every couple minutes, or like if you got a game over, like we would take over. Like we would just have like a little game night, and it was really fun. I actually remember them very like very well. And we just my cousin actually would fly down sometimes from Florida, and when he came to come hang out with us, he would stay with us, and we would all be playing Spyro. I remember him being on like very high levels that I now currently play at. And I remember back in the day, obviously I never got that far. It was like 8. Like I probably was like sucked horribly. And I remember him. I'm like, how would you play that high? I'm like, oh my goodness. And now I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But I think those were like just having like those game nights and everything. Like, and with the Crash and the Spyro, it was fun. It
Did
was
you
fun, and
play
I think it
all the versions of them? Because there was like what 3 or 4 Spyro games, and there was 3 Crash games on
did.
PS1.
No, we didn't. We it was very basic. It was kind of like the one video games. I think all of the other ones, like the different versions, kind of ended up coming out like over the years or with for different consoles. And I only really had a PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. At that age, I had a PlayStation 1, but I do know I did get a PlayStation 2 early on, but I think it might have been like a couple years later, maybe like a year or two later.
All right, so now a scenario: the world is ending. There's a PlayStation 1 in front of you, and you only have time to play one of these 2 games. Do you pick Crash or Spyro?
Spyro,
Spyro. Well, that was an easy
Spyro.
decision.
Oh
yes, because
wow.
I still
Okay.
play it. I still play it.
Okay,
I actually have it downloaded and I beat the game. Not that long ago, probably about a couple months ago I beat it, but I really haven't played Crash.
that's awesome. Did you get the trilogy they put out on PS4 that has like all 3 Spyro games?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I have that. I mainly play the one. It's I think the Year of the Dragon or Land of the Dragon. I usually play that one, and then there's the other version that he can actually like swim in water. That one's pretty new to me, but I have played that one. I didn't like that wasn't the one I grew up on. I don't like change. Okay, like that's number one for me. I don't like change, and that's with everything. Like I am very comfortable with my situation. I'm comfortable with my console with my game. So for me to go from a PS3 to a P or I'm sorry, PS4 to a PS5 was a lot. I get so intimidated. I'm
I
like,
think
wait a
Wes
minute,
can agree with you on that. I
Yeah,
don't think he's
definitely.
opened his PS5 yet.
Still sitting in a box, man.
oh
But
no. See, I was so excited to get a PlayStation 5. As soon as I saw the box, I opened it for Christmas and I like started shedding a tear. So I was excited because I really wanted one because I knew that Dead by Daylight, especially, is a very hefty game. It has a lot of, I guess, like gigabytes and a lot of content. So it was running a lot slower and delayed compared to when others I would play with who had a PlayStation 5. So when I did get the PlayStation 5, I was super excited. I was like, oh, I think I started tearing up. There's actually a picture of me with my eyes all red. It's all
That's
right.
awesome.
well, Taylor, you mentioned that one, you don't like change, um, and that you really like Spyro. So what was your take when they kind of changed the tone of Spyro from the kid friendly tone to like the little slightly darker tone when it came out on, was it PS2, I believe, when they kind of changed the whole tone of the game?
I have that game, but I probably didn't play it, probably for that reason.
Okay.
I had, so the PlayStation 1 games are compatible with usually a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation
Mhm.
3. So for a while, I was still playing that PlayStation 1 disc and a lot of my other consoles.
Mhm.
Um, I had a Spyro for PlayStation 2, but usually the two games are not compatible with the other consoles. So I didn't play that one, but I had it. I had it. It looked a lot darker and
Mhm.
it was different. I didn't want to play it. It was different.
So Wes, what about you? What were some of your influential games?
So immediately I could think of one for PlayStation 2, and that's Guitar Hero.
Mm.
uh, be,
Yeah.
because it started a whole revolution of the music genre. It the the kits, the band kits, playing with the family, which was great. Uh, I loved it, and you had it went from Guitar Hero to Rock Band to DJ Hero, which I loved the minute I opened the box because used to be a DJ back in the day, so it kind of brought that old nostalgia back. But another reason why I think Guitar Hero is like really influential is because it introduced a whole generation to different music that they've never heard of. Like I look at my kids and they didn't know who Bad Religion was, and I'm playing Guitar Hero and they're exposed to all these different songs, the Rolling Stones, and they didn't know who they were. They didn't care to listen to them until Guitar Hero. So Guitar Hero was it for me, man. Like I said, it exposed a whole new generation to music that they generally would not listen to.
I feel that. I feel that there was a lot of music that I remember playing on Guitar Hero and even Rock Band for that matter. And I could probably show my age here, but there's a lot of probably songs I did not realize until I started hearing it on Guitar Hero that I now know from Guitar Hero. So.
Absolutely. Rock Band was the evolution of Guitar Hero for me. So I really love, like, I like Guitar Hero. Got me started. But Rock Band is like, dude, give me the drums all day. All day I'll play those drums, man.
That's why everyone would get the Rock Band was for the drums.
but then Guitar Hero came out with Band Hero, which had the drums.
Yeah, but it was called Band Hero.
Yeah, but it was the same
thing. Band Hero. Come on, man. It's like it's like Vanilla Ice to the Beastie Boys. Get the hell out of here with your Vanilla Ice.
What's your influential game?
I mean, if I had to pick one, it would be Super Mario Brothers would have to be the answer. Just because the first one got me into games, but Super Mario 64 like sunk me in where I could never escape again. Like, this is what I'm gonna do forever. But before then, I was like, it ebbed and flowed. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna leave gaming, blah blah blah. And then I played Super Mario 64 at like a defunct department store. I think it was like a Caldor or a Sears or something.
Man. Caldor.
Yeah, Caldor. Shout out to your northeastern defunct department stores.
Definitely.
Maybe it was a Bradley's. I don't know. We might get crazy. But yeah, Mario is my answer. You could the series in general. Like I've played. There's a new Mario coming out tomorrow. I'm buying it. I don't care what it is. It's coming home. How long have you guys been playing games?
Like I was saying, I've been playing for a long time, especially when I was younger. I played for a while when I was younger. It was first introduced, like I said, with the Game Boy and then the Nintendo DS. So, young. I don't have an age, but I know it was young. But I can still remember it, so must have not been that young.
Wes, what about you?
Next question. Don't show my age.
Well, you already dropped the Magnavox Odyssey on us, so I mean that was really the beginning of the home console. So you were there for the arcades, you were there for the home consoles.
I was, man. I guess I 40 years. Yeah, about 40 years. 1980. Yeah, 40
Not
years.
that far behind. 37 years, because I was 2 when I started playing. Like I know I was 2 because it was before I could read. There's a couple things I could do before I could read, and I remember this distinctly.
Mm-hmm.
Play video games, figured that out, loved it. Played poker before I could read. Thanks, Grandma. Played poker and drank coffee before I could read, because she would give me coffee and play. Like, I would sit there. She wanted me to play poker with her. Fine, give me some coffee. She gave me coffee. I played poker. Could do all those things before I could read a book.
Wow. I grew up with that lifestyle. Jeez.
Oh, man.
She gave me everything. I had boosts. I had all sorts of stuff, man. You name it.
Oh.
I got whatever I wanted over there. It was great.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's like we're still gaming, man. That's what's so great about it. We're still gaming.
Yeah, like I said, it's not going to go away. It's here. We're going to be the generations in the retirement homes that are like, it's playing video games, right? Everybody's playing like Baccarat or like some bridge. We're going to have like TV.
Give me a controller.
We're going to be doing LAN parties. Let me connect this original Xbox to this CRT over here. Do you guys? I'm gonna just answer this for me and Wes. Get it out of the way. Do you game on other platforms? Yes, me and Wes game on everything under the sun, with the exception of probably computers, right?
True. I'm not a PC gamer.
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't. I think I played it. I could count on one hand how many PC games I've played. So everything but PC, I'm cool with. Taylor, what about you? Do you game outside of the PlayStation Nation?
I used to. So like I said, at the time, before the PlayStation, it was the handheld devices. The PC, I can't get into it. However, my first Dell laptop, it was a monster. I played Sims on that, and I lit the whole house on fire. My Sims died. Never again did I ever play anything on the computer.
Did you trap them in the house so they couldn't escape when the house was on
No,
fire?
I don't know. It was I think it was like my first time playing Sims 2. I just didn't know what I was doing. But like I remember I don't even know. I was like doing something. I was like pushing a button, and it just like it turned like a black ghost and just died. I'm like, what? Like I just never. And then that was the end of it. Like I never played it ever again. Because I couldn't. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just put a bad taste in my mouth. So I never played PC. After that, but the only other platform that I just actually recently thought of that I have played on was the Wii. It made me think of that because when you brought up Super Mario, I played the racing one, the
Mario
Super
Kart.
Mario like race. Yeah, Mario Kart. I played that for a while on the Wii, which I loved. I brought it here when I moved out. I brought it with me, but I never hooked it up because I wanted to play with it with the kids, but we never got to it because I feel like they would have loved it. But no, other than the occasional handheld devices when I was younger, and then the Wii, PlayStation was it. Like I never had an Xbox or any of the other consoles or devices that my other friends had. I remember them playing on another like little handheld device with like a little stick. I'm so showing my age there, but I never played on that one either.
Did you play on any of the PlayStation handhelds? Did you have like a PSP or a Vita at all, or no?
No,
No. Okay.
no, it was just PlayStation One. That's all it was. PlayStation One, PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've played on every single console of PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
But that was it. And then the other ones,
What's your favorite?
PlayStation.
Well, which console? Which one? One, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
It depends because there is a Sims game that I enjoyed and I liked playing, but it was only on PlayStation 2. I mean, I want to say PlayStation, I guess either 4 or 5. I mean, I just got the 5 this past Christmas, so it's like it's definitely new. I like it because it's more high tech and you can do a lot more things that way, especially when it comes to when you're streaming. It's more streamer friendly than the PlayStation 4. But I've had the 4 for years. So for me to say PlayStation 4 is my favorite, probably, but it's just because probably the PlayStation 5 is just so new.
Four's up there for me too. I think four is possibly my favorite PlayStation console. I'd have to give this way more thought. Two was
Hmm.
my favorite easy before four came out. Two was definitely my go-to, but four, I really really loved four a lot. Spent a lot of time on my PS4.